it's Sarah here. Thank you so much for joining me and hanging out with me today as we look at this. This is the Kaweco Calligraphy Kit. So we're going to open it up and have a look, play around with the nibs. I've played with it a little bit, so I'll share my thoughts along the way. So yeah, if you're interested in this kit, stick around and let's kind of discover it together. So it comes in a box, and I guess first I'm actually going to quickly tell you how I came across this. If you've watched some of my videos already, you know that I am trying to improve my handwriting. And I've started playing with some stub nibs and trying to learn different handwriting styles to mixed success. I was looking at the Pilot parallel pens that come in the different nib sizes, and I was just looking at different calligraphy kind of nibs and pens, etc. And I love my Kaweco that I have. And I then remembered that they actually do a kit. Sorry if you heard that scratching just then. That was my cat stuck behind a closed door, so I've opened that up and she is free and now lounging about. So as I was saying, I remembered that Kaweco does this kit, and as it goes, I'm sure many of you feel have had this same experience. It's the middle of the night, you can't sleep. Oh, I'll look on the internet for different pen things. So I typed into Google Kaweco calligraphy, and there was nothing on eBay. They retail for around, I think it's like $115, $120 here in Australia, which a bit out of my price range for someone kind of just beginning and really just wanting to experiment. And then I came across a website that I've never heard of before called Poshmaker. I think its actual purpose is people sell secondhand fashion. And there was someone on there selling this kit. It was described as brand new inside, so none of this had been used, but the box had some scuff marks on it, which it does. She had it listed for $26 plus shipping. I had a sign-up code because I had to create an account for Poshmaker, which gave me like $10 off. Shipping was $10. So I got this brand new on the inside calligraphy kit for $26 shipped to my door. Pretty awesome. I don't mind that the box is a bit scuffed. Everything inside it is new. These little nib protectors were discolored, but I've seen a few people on YouTube chat about these and no one likes them, and I probably won't use them either. So I'm not sure if they caught some sunlight or something. All the nibs, you can tell that they just haven't been used. It comes with the 2 cartridge box, but it also had the 2 cartridges in here, again, stacked how they are when you get a new Kaweco. So pretty awesome find. So let's do, I guess, a proper unboxing. This is what the box looks like. I think this would be great for just general storage anyway. Opening it up, you get the pen. Now I have taken the cartridges out of here. One of them is in here. So this is just the black classic with the silver accents. I have the 1.1 stub in there. It comes with, this set comes with all black. So you've got the 2 black cartridges that come in here. I've just got the other one off to the side. And then 2 packets. So it comes, that's 12 cartridges. In terms of the nibs, let's see if I don't do funky things with focus here. That's the 1.1. 1.5. 1.9. 2.3. These, I think, are supposed to protect your extra nibs. I don't think I'm going to use them, to be honest. It does fit quite nicely. I guess I need to decide what I want to do with this box. If I want to use this box for other storage, I probably would use that. Pardon me. But if I keep it in here, I probably just keep them in there little sections. So what I'm going to do is move this off to the side. And I thought what I'd try and do is actually play with all the nibs so we can see what they look like. And I'll try and swap them over so we can see the different line widths. And I might just have to, there might be a bit of editing in this video because obviously it'll take a while to get the ink flowing, and you guys don't need to sit here with me as I, do lines and lines waiting for the ink to come in. But first up, this is the 1.1 stub nib, and the nibs go into the pen just as any other Kaweco would. Like, all of that is very standard. So let's see if there's any ink in this. It's slowly coming through. And this is the standard black Kaweco cartridge. I quite enjoy writing the word minimum, and I know that the doodle bub always writes mango chutney. I think you get the different variations there. First thoughts, I quite like it. It feels like a standard 1.1 stub. Right on the H there, I did get a little bit of a hard start, but the ink could just be still flowing through. It feels good. You can hear it a little bit. It's not overly wet. But it feels nice to write with. My cursive is very messy. So that is the 1.1 stub. Now, this is where we're going to test my cleanliness skills. I will confess also, I did play with this one, the 1.5 stub, before with some blue, and I started cleaning it out, and then I was so excited to film this video, I may have not completely cleaned it out. So there may be a little bit of blue. I know that makes some people very upset. I mean, unless I'm doing something specific, but when I'm just playing around, I actually quite like seeing the colours move from one to the other. And I'm very silly. Do you know what I didn't do? I didn't actually write there that it is a 1.1 stub. So I'll write it in this one. And this is where you need elevator music so that the ink starts running through. There you go. See, there's a little bit of water in there. I know that's going to make some people really upset. I'm sorry. All right, so this was the 1.1 stub. And this coming through now is the 1.5 stub. What I found with this pen, this stub, sorry, when I was just playing with a blue cartridge, so a Kaweco blue cartridge, was I did sometimes get hard starts. And I think it's just about as the stubs get wider, it needs more ink. A couple of times I would just unscrew it and just prime it a little bit, just squeeze the cartridge, and it would start flowing really nicely. But it did just a couple of times. So I do wonder then, as I go to the other ones, if that's going to become more of an issue. But you can see once it gets going and once it does have a good supply of ink, it writes quite nicely. You know what I should have done? Silly me. I didn't think about this. I should have done a comparison. I'll do it underneath here. So if I go, that one, there's the 1. That's the 1.5. And then I've been silly and I've lent on this while it's still wet. I think I've said this before in videos before as well. Very professional. So that's the 1.5. Just popping them in a glass of water, so I'll clean them all properly once I finish this. So now we are going on to the 1.9. Sometimes I wonder, like, if you guys would prefer when I make these little stuff ups, like, should I start all over again, make it, I guess, more professional, the biggest inverted commas ever. But as I watch back, I go, you know what, like, I am a novice and I am just exploring and I do mess up, and I don't know, I kind of like the idea of it being more truthful. I have really mixed feelings about social media. I deleted my personal Facebook years ago, and I think it was a really, really good decision. I still have a personal Instagram that I don't use much, and I have really enjoyed, using Instagram for this account and YouTube and connecting with people. It feels really positive. It feels great. But I also do see the negatives of social media, and everyone just, there's an aspect of it being performative and curating this completely perfect life. And I don't want to do that. I guess I want to show what I love about pens and what I love about journaling, but also the mess of it and the stuff-ups of it and it not being perfect. And there's so much research that just shows, I guess, how detrimental social media can be. It's something I really think about now that I've had kids as well. What am I demonstrating for them? So yeah, it's a push and pull. I'm really happy that I made this channel and my Instagram. I'm being completely honest when I say it has given me so much. I'm enjoying it so much. I said before, I didn't even want to clean the nib because I just wanted to jump on and film this for a few people that I've never met who are going to watch it, and I think it's worth it. But I'm just really conscious of I guess not being performative and not looking perfect. This is really not wanting to write, is it? So yeah, it's something that I just think about. And I guess also now that I have the YouTube and the Instagram, I'm also on my phone more, which is something I've actually been consciously trying to not do. And I definitely don't want to do it when it's, playtime with my kids. So do I try and do it at night, or like now, during a nap? It's all the inner thoughts, hey, that go on in your head. I'd love to know, I guess, for you guys who have been around in this community a bit longer than me and on Instagram and stuff a bit longer, is that something you ever struggle with? It would be good if I put it in the right part of the pen, hey? Yeah, what are your thoughts about my little ramble just then? And I guess also, do you have a preference? Do you like the mess ups? There you go. We're getting there now. A little bit of railroading. Do you like, I guess, the quote unquote realness of it, or would you prefer me to actually make it a little bit less jumpy, or a little bit more smooth sailing? Is there something that you prefer? Let me know. I definitely take on the feedback, and I am genuinely interested. So now we go on to the 1.9 stub. Straight away you can see it's decently more chunky. If I just come in here, bring it in frame. There you go. So as the ink was coming in, and then just right up the top, you can see a little bit of railroading. There you go again. Interested to see if that stays as the ink flows. It's pretty beautiful line variation though. I can feel there's definitely like more feedback on the page, and I should have said this at the beginning, I'm using my Oxford Optic Paper notebook. It's really smooth paper. I find that it doesn't have a lot of feedback. The paper itself, it's not toothy at all. It's coated. But I can feel with this nib, see if you can hear it. I can just feel it needing to work a bit more. I am interested to see what would happen if I put a really wet ink in this pen. Yeah, you can see there it is skipping a little bit. I've been doing a little bit of research, and I think is it KWZ is known to be really wet ink. So I would be interested to see what that looks like, because now, look, that was writing a bit faster. You can see it is skipping a little bit. So I just wonder if the nib is almost too much for the cartridge for the amount of ink flowing through. Just paused for a second there because it was really struggling. I'm wondering as well if it's also about the angle. So holding it at a slightly higher angle. Well, I say that and it's not going to work at all. Maybe it's like that. It seems a little bit happier now. So as the stub gets thicker, I guess it gets a bit more sensitive to angles, which also makes sense. It's needing to do a lot more work. Now, finally, we have the 2.3. Cat's just going bonkers behind me here. So while I wait, let's actually prime it a little bit, hey? It's going to need to do a lot of work. While I wait for this ink to come through, I'm not sure if any of you guys follow me on Instagram, but I put up a couple of stories over the weekend. Being pretty inspired by Simone Simone's ink swap that she did for this year. That's my cat going crazy again. As I was saying, been pretty inspired by Simone Simone's ink swap that she did this year. Watching her video and seeing everyone tag, something that I really wanted to be a part of, but the drawback for me was obviously I'm in Australia, shipping to the rest of the world, but especially to, not especially, but most of the participants were in the US and Canada is just insane. You're probably looking at least $20. And it's not even so much me sending it across, but the idea of putting that burden on someone, let's just say in Canada, of going, yeah, I want to participate in this thing. Oh, hang on, I need to spend X amount of dollars to send something to someone all the way in Australia, a stranger. I felt uncomfortable putting that financial burden on someone, or then the conflict of them going, oh, I actually can't afford that. I'm not going to send it. And then there's the guilt. Like you can see how your mind can just go places with that. So I started just putting some feelers out there and seeing if anyone would be interested in doing an Aussie ink swap. I'm really happy to organise it, as in work out who sends to what, create some guidelines and, do all the admin stuff. I've had a little bit of interest, but if anyone here is watching in Australia and would love to participate in something like that, please let me know. You can leave a comment below, or if you want to just send me a DM on Instagram at houseofezra. There's full stops in between, so house.of.ezra. Let me know. I'm getting an email together that I'll send out to everyone. Given the time of year, I'm looking at probably actually having the swap occur early next year, just so it doesn't interfere with Christmas and everything else. But I think it'd be really, really exciting to do. So yeah, if it is something you'd be interested in, please let me know. I've never posted on Reddit before, but I'll try and put a post up there. And I know that on Facebook they have a I think, a pretty good Fountain Pen Australia Facebook group. I did make a House of Ezra Facebook last night. I just can't stand Facebook, I don't know, but I have asked to join that group. Nick on Instagram made a great suggestion of posting in there, and it's fair enough, so I might do that, but I really don't want to spend too much time on Facebook. I don't know, I just really don't like the platform. So if you're interested, or if you know someone who might be, yeah, let me know. I thought I'd kind of keep the time open, you know, basically from now maybe until the first week of Jan, and then, you know, pick a date in January where I go, okay, you know, now we have all our participants. There we go, the pen's coming through now. And then, yeah, try and have everyone have their packages maybe by the first week of Feb. So the last nib in this set is the 2.3. It was coming through. There you go. 1.1, 0.5, 1.9, 2.3. And I don't know if you can see there, but like that's still drying. It does put down quite a bit of ink. So this, did I leave myself enough room? Of course not. Is the 2.3 Stub. How nice and chunky is that? Yeah, it's struggling again with the ink. But when it does it, puts, look at that line variation there. So that's your thick down, and then that's your thin horizontal. When it can get the ink, it does beautiful. Line variation. Ooh, I think this one might be my favorite. What happens, let's see, if I try and write fast, if it keeps up. Did pretty well. Now look, this is just the standard cartridge, not really any shading. I'd be super interested to see, like if I put a really nice shading ink in here, what you'd get. But going from top to bottom, 1.1, Stub handles, the feed handles the ink really well. It had one tiny hard start on the H, but really there's nothing else. You can see everywhere a really nice amount of ink. Coming down to the 1.5, this one did have a few little hard starts, but I wonder, I guess, about that angle as well. Actually, you can almost see on the chutney there is little bits of shading just at the bottoms of letters. So you can see it does have the potential. And then coming into the nice chunky ones, 1.9, and I mean, you get some really beautiful, and with this one, some really beautiful variations there. Did struggle a little bit with the amount of ink needed, especially when writing fast. Like it really, you didn't get much of the X there at all, the top of the B. But when you kind of find the angle, you know, we were getting somewhere. And finally, the 2.3 Stub. I don't know, I kind of really like the super chunk. I almost like this one a little bit more than this one for some reason. Really nice line variation. Again, when you get the angle right, a few little skips in terms of the ink, but when you get a nice angle and write a bit slowly, I think you get some really beautiful line variation there. So, pretty cool, I think, that I was able to pick this up for $26. I will work out what the conversions are into US and just like add it as a title, so you can kind of see. But in Australia, at least, this retails for around, yeah, as I said, $115. It's a really great set. Comes with the 4 nibs, 2 packets of cartridges and the 2 in there, so 12, and little nib protectors if you were wanting them. Thanks so much for, I think this was a bit of a long video, for discovering this pen with me and listening to me ramble on about ink swaps and social media. I would love to know your thoughts. I'd love to know if you've used this set before, any tips, or if you found anything about that angle and just finding that sweet spot. Any advice would be great. If you enjoyed today's video, if you could hit the like button and subscribe, that would also be awesome. I am seeing that people, maybe a few people now, are starting to see my videos, which is so cool. But every time you like or subscribe, I know that definitely helps also. Yeah, thanks so much, guys. I'll speak to you all again soon.